Awesome. So let's jump right into it. First thing I'd like to know about any kind of person, especially if I'm learning something about finance or investing or personal finance. I want to understand where the person that I'm learning from is coming from, because you want to learn from the best in business, right? And if you learn from the best, then you'll eventually you'll become the best, right? So it's just this self-fulfilling process, learning from the top people on the planet, and then you can go and you surpass those people, right? And so that's what so many of my students are on the path of doing, which is so cool. I really want you to be better than me, but I also really want to be better myself. So it's just this process of getting better and better and just doing amazing things, which is just so fun, so cool. And so with that said, let's jump over to the computer, and I want to talk a little bit more about who is Stephanie Cameraman. So she's kind of interesting because it's not a traditional background. She went to university and college for psychology, which is she wanted to go and study psychology and be a psychiatrist and stuff, but she just didn't really go to grad school, right? And so what's interesting is she starts to go out in the field, she starts to work, starts to just hustle, grind, and absolutely crush it, which is super cool. And this is the insane power of your network, right? This idea that your net worth is your network. It's so powerful. So Stephanie's in her little world over here, and what's cool is she's got her buddy over here. She's working at this Wall Street firm called Schonfield Security. At this firm, there are these big institutional investors, and they're putting up hundreds of thousands every day into the market, and they're making millions of dollars a year as stock traders. And so as her friend is over here, she's basically just helping them out. She's their secretary, just trying to assist with the investments. And they're having this big meeting one night, and this big meeting is to kind of celebrate a really awesome year, and then just to go out and have some fun. And the challenge was everybody in this office was a guy except for Stephanie's friend. And so Stephanie's friend gave Stephanie a call and said, hey, Stephanie, could you come over to this big party we're having? We're having a big dinner, and it's gonna be super awesome. And she says, sure, I'll come over. Sounds like a plan, sounds fun, let's get it on. And so they go to this party, right? And so Stephanie's here, and she comes to this restaurant. She's like, awesome, we're gonna have a great time. And her friend, the girl walks around the corner, and she's got her buddies there, right? And she's with the stock traders. And Stephanie's expecting these guys to walk around the corner and just be in these big Armani suits, just super fancy, super styled up, and just she's expecting to see Wall Street walk around the corner, which is I don't know, I think it's kind of funny. It's cool. And so she's standing here, she's waiting for Wall Street to walk around the corner, and as these guys come around the corner, big banker guys or super dressed up or whatever, they've got blazers and or just normal shirts and just jeans on, and it's so fun. And she's like, wow, because she totally expected something sort of kind of different out of these guys. She expected them to be more pumped up, more surrounded in just cash everywhere, because they were making tons of money in the market, but they weren't flaundering their wealth, which is pretty cool. They're holding their standards, they're holding themselves accountable, but they're just kind of living their life and having fun, which is really awesome. And so here's this concept, right? She would never meet these guys, have met them, if she wasn't able to connect with them through a friend. So they go and they have dinner, and it's super awesome. And basically Stephanie, she says, hey, this is some pretty awesome stuff. How can I get involved, right? How can I do this stuff with you? This sounds really cool. You guys are trading stocks? What? That's cool. And even though she studied in psychology, she was just trying to make by, and she wanted to take advantage of every opportunity that she had, which is so powerful, so huge. You got to make sure that if opportunity steps up and stares you in the face, you pounce on it. And that's exactly what she does. She pounces on it. So what happens here is so powerful, so huge. Basically, one of these stock trader guys says that he needs an assistant, he needs a secretary, he needs help with his investments because he's just busy trading or whatever. And he says, hey, would you come and help me? And at the time, what happened is Stephanie just graduated college. She just finished. And this guy's like, look, you can come work at this big brokerage firm. We have tons and tons of bank. It'll be the coolest thing ever. You'll love it. And Stephanie's like, I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity. And I realize how insanely powerful it is to go and work under someone who's literally with millions of dollars. It's just so powerful, so huge. And work, get paid for it, right? She's getting paid. And she says, look, dude, I don't know anything about stocks, up, down, up, down, up, down. I don't really know, man. And he says that it's not a big deal he'll teach her everything that he knows, which is like, so awesome and so powerful, because it's a mentorship, right? It's this agreement between the two to learn and learn and learn together and have this next level of results, because it's a mutual relationship, right? Like, it's not just her, or it's not just him, but together as a team, they're able to grow so much together. That it's just so much more than they could ever even dream to do alone, which is just so powerful, so huge. And it's this concept that I think is really powerful. You gotta understand, like, she had no clue what she was doing going into this job. This idea that she had no clue what she was doing going into this work. And so because of that, like, most people will see that as an advantage. Most people would say, well, you know, I can't do that. And it's so awful, because most people are like, oh, I gotta go to college for 5 years to learn how to trace, or for whatever. You know, and it's like bogus. And he's like, no, don't sweat it. I will teach you. I will mentor you. I will help you. Which is so powerful, so huge. You can get this kind of relationship, it changes everything. And that's exactly what happens here. So, like, she actually gets paid for this, which is like super awesome, because she learns so much and it literally changes her whole life. But like, if you're struggling, especially with your career, like, and you really want to get an opportunity to work with someone that you have, like, you know, a specific person you want to work with, or you have a specific goal you want to get to, or you have a specific sort of career path that you're working towards, and you're thinking, okay, well, you know, I'll start here in the bottom, and then I'll go here, and then I'll go here, and then I'll go here. Or maybe, you know, you want to be like, look, I'm going to work for someone, learn from someone, and then after a little bit of time, I have this huge skyrocket of success, and I'm going to, you know, launch a business company, trade stocks, whatever, right? But at the beginning, you know, you're learning, right? You're in this learning phase, and you're trying to get this information down. And so one of the most powerful things you can do is to work for free. And what happens is so powerful when you work for free, because, like, all of a sudden you can seriously connect with an individual, especially a master. So work for gratis for a master, right? So if you can find, like, one of the best people in your industry and go and work for them for free, you're gonna get so much mentorship, so much growth, so much learning experience, so much work experience, so much valuable marketplace skills, just like for free, which is like so powerful. I know so many of those like, they got to where they were by finding someone in a similar industry, right? And they went and they found this person that was like at the top of this, and they were like, look, hey, you know, can I come and work for you just for free? And these guys say, yeah, sure, you got it, 100%. Let's make it happen. Come, you know, and sometimes for the first couple of years, sometimes for the first, you know, couple of months, whatever, it's like, you know, get coffee or you know, set up this stuff, and it's just like boring menial work. But over time, what happens? You start to go through this growth curve. You start to go up and up and up and up and up and up, and you get this next level, and all of a sudden what happens is so powerful, so huge, because all of a sudden you're working for the master, you're working for the boss, and you're really getting stuff done. You're at this new high level up here, right? You're getting to this high level of achievement, this high level of work, and it's so powerful, because the moment that you get up here, what happens? You start to actually do the career that might have taken somebody else 4 years of college to get to, right? Because what? You're adding value without asking for anything in return. This is a very powerful concept. It'll change everything if you apply it, especially at some sort of, you know, really popular, huge firm, or someone that is a strongly respected individual in your sort of industry. Like, just find that top person and go work for them for free for a year. And what's crazy is, like, you'll learn so much, be so valuable, and at the same time you might even, like, actually make money together, or have future business deals, future partnerships, future employment. Doesn't really matter, because you'll have such a, it just changes absolutely everything. It's really powerful. I wish I knew this a long time ago, because it would have saved me literally like years of struggling to figure out how to do stuff on my own. If I could just find someone who's like absolutely crushing it, and then go work for them for free and see what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, like, it changes everything, right? And it's probably like, I mean, like, if you go to like this huge company and you're like, oh, I can't get a job here, like, go work for free for a year and bet your butt, like, you're gonna get a job there, right? It's like a no-brainer, because you're adding so much value, and you're doing what? You're creating a mentorship. And that's really kind of the most powerful thing you can have here, right? Is that mentorship and that relationship that will totally change it all, which is super cool. So that's kind of what happens here with Stephanie, is she has this connection, she has this relationship with this really good Wall Street investor. You know, they go to this trading room, or this trading company. Basically, she comes in, so now instead of being an outsider, she's over here on the inside, and she's learning exactly what this guy's doing, being, you know, his personal helper. And at the beginning, you know, she's like executing trades, or she's getting coffee or stuff like that. But over time, it grows and it grows and it grows. And after a couple of years, it got to the point where, like, he would have her do like all of his trades, also sort of review everything that he was doing, and he would basically teach her the exact strategies that he was using, right? So like everything he had, all the information, all the knowledge, all the secrets, all the experience he had, he was channeling it into her, right? Into her so that she could become very, very, very good. Because when people surround themselves with mentees or when they're learning with others, like they want those individuals to learn to the best of their ability. Like there's no reason not to teach the best of your ability, right? And so you want them to have the most success possible. And that's exactly what happens here with Stephanie. Is she learns from the best, this guy, right? He was the best trader in this entire company, in this whole firm. And that's who Stephanie learned pretty much everything from for years and years and years and years, which is just so powerful, so huge, and it totally changed everything for her because she actually uncovered what was going on in the market. Because this guy's his strategy relied on sort of following institutions, and this is really powerful, right? Because institutions are huge. You look at this idea of really, really, really like massive companies like banks or hedge funds, or just big financial companies. Depends sort of on like the most predominant ones, but you have companies like JP Morgan and Chase or Goldman Sachs, and they're trading, hundreds of millions, billions of shares in these markets. And it's this idea of, the 80-20 principle, right? Like 80-20 principle, really, really, really good book. You guys gotta read the 80-20 principle if you haven't read it. It's this idea that like 80% all the trading that goes on in the whole market is, so if this is like the whole market right here, this would be like the other 20%. 80% of this trading volume is going to come from 20% of investors. And with the stock market, it's actually a little bit more unbalanced. The numbers aren't exactly perfect because it's a little bit anonymous, a little bit skewed. Some of the numbers are just hidden from the general public. But you have a very, very, very small minority of all the firms in existence, all the trading firms, right? And this small minority, Goldman Sachs, these guys are trading the vast majority of the volume, right? They're, so much of the trading that when they make investments, they can move the market. And that's a concept we're going to develop and we're going to learn a whole lot more about throughout this masterclass. But that sort of was the core concept of what Stephanie's mentor, the trader mentor, went through. Is he would look at, what were these really, really, really big institutions doing? And then at the end of the day, he would see how the stocks they were trading kind of closed. And if they closed like up a whole bunch, he would buy them at the end of the market. So I'll kind of draw this for you guys so you can visualize it. Then you have sort of like the post-market, right? And then you have the pre-market, and then you have the next day, right? He would look at a stock, right? And if the stock was going up a whole bunch in the day, and maybe somebody bought a whole bunch of it right here, the next day he would come right here at like 3:55, like right before the market closed, and if they were crushing it, he would buy them in anticipation that the next day they would kind of go up a little bit in the pre-market, and they would open really high, and then he would just sell right when they open, and then he didn't really care what they did after that. It didn't really matter to him. And so he would make just that little bit of cash from this post and pre-market right here when the market kind of shifted. And what's really cool is you kind of see this kind of strategy. Like it works really, really well. I'll show you guys in the next module how this sort of investment tactic works with the S&P, which is really, really, really powerful. Because this is a well-known kind of investment strategy. This idea that you want to buy the winning stocks after they win and then hope that they keep going up. And same thing with the losers, right? So, right, and then here's sort of your pre-market and your post-market. So if the stock, if it's starting out like right here, he just decides to sort of go, not up, but instead it just goes down, 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 for the whole day, right? It never gets to its previous high. Then what he would do is pretty basic, it's the same concept, right? He would short it right here, short it here, and then as the stock went through the post-market, the goal, right, is to have it keep going down. And so that's sort of how you'd short it here, and then it would go down and down and down, and then as soon as the market opened the next day, same thing, right? You cover the position as soon as the market opens. And so that was really what she learned off of. That was her basis, right? If it's going down, then you short it, and then you kind of cover it the next morning. You short it at the end of the day. And then if it's going up, you buy it at the end of the day, and then you sell it the next morning. So cool, that was sort of what she was learning on, which is really, really cool. And by using this strategy, this guy was making, literally millions and millions and millions of dollars every every year, which he was crushing it, right? And so it was trading sort of larger companies, which we'll get into soon. But that was sort of the foundation. That's where, you know, Stephanie's coming from. She's coming, you know, not from a background in finance or background in investing, but instead from a background in mentorship, where she's actually learning from someone who's actually doing it, which is really, 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 really powerful. And just a cool backstory to know that, like, she didn't actually come from, you know, some graduate school or some finance program. It just wasn't her background, because in all reality, she didn't know any of those individuals. And those individuals, the ones she did know, like, they really had no clue what they were doing. And so for her, it was just this totally different journey. She kind of shows this picture of the building she was working in the book. And in this picture, you can kind of see, like, this building kind of has a lot of windows. It's a pretty sizable building. And like the whole side of it's glass. And you know, she tells a story, and I think it's kind of the best way to end this off, just so you guys can kind of understand where she's coming from here. This is like the early 1990s, 1980s, and you know, she just never really had been in this space before, and the technology these guys were working with was nowhere near, you know, what we have today, which is just, we're so grateful to be where we are. But what happened was really, really interesting. So basically, he walks in on the first day, and the guy says, "Hey, you know, do you know Windows, or can you do Windows?" And she's looking at these like this whole wall of pane of glass everywhere, and she's like, "Holy crap! This guy wants me to clean all the windows on this building. What?" And he's like, "Hey, don't worry about it. It's okay. I can teach you how to use Windows, you know, the operating system, right?" And so basically, the point is, like, she started with nothing. She started not knowing even how to use, like, Windows, because Windows was so new and so few people actually had computers. And so because of that, you know, she's starting at ground zero here. And so it's just so powerful to be able to start with all this technology and all these, you know, shortcuts basically that we have today, because you're starting like light years ahead of where people used to be, which I think is really, really, really cool and really, really powerful. That's sort of the background. That's how Stephanie, you know, learned most of her information. It was all through mentorship over a long period. I think she could have probably done it a lot faster if she was like trading more, but you know, no harm, no foul, right? She was learning her strategy, and her strategy is just killer. So I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are excited about it, and I will see you in the next module. Thank you so much. I hope you had a ton of value from this. Go out there, apply it, and absolutely crush it. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.